So what we just saw, it seemed like you guys were scrimmaging pretty good. Is that one of the benefits of training camp? Because you haven't played a game yet, you guys can have game situations.
I try to do as much as I can. For me, to design a training camp is important and challenging. Also, it's like you're trying to get what's most important. I call it WMI. What's most important? You got 4 days to get what's most important, as I see it, on offense, defense, situations, whatever, and trying to have the defense, guard our offense so you can coach both. You got its brother and its sister, like just going against each other. You don't need to go over here and coach defense and come over here and coach offense. You try to guard ourselves and coach within that roof. And to your point, you can scrimmage a little bit easier when you do it that way. And I thought, again, we had another good day.
What do you think you said what's most important, right now for you guys?
I mean, I'm not going to go granular coach speak. I will go global and tell you that conditioning is most on my mind. Like, we want to arrive on October the 23rd. I tell them the greatest shape of your life. So, like, you have to come into camp with a BB plus. I'll get you to an A. And I think that they have come into camp with BB plus. I will try to get them to A, but conditioning rules my world.
Brett, spacing, that probably will take some time. Is that one of the bigger challenges when you're having all these new teams getting spacing together?
Spacing is kind of everything, but I'm helped by my floor markings. We talk lots about the 4-point line. We talk lots about red corners. We talk lots about a low zone. And, the markings help me coach, I hope, better when you can, like, stop something and there it is. It's not a, negotiable thing. And so I hope that spacing is better coached over our years because philosophically, we put our money where our mouth is by painting the court. And I know it helps me.
What are some of the things you can share that just stood out from scrimmages or just from certain drills today?
I mean, I feel like they sense we have a chance to do something unique. I think that there is a spirit in the group, although we haven't played much, that seems genuine. And it's just the vibe of a new season and the vibe of we have a team that we're quite excited about. And they're good guys, like they're good people. Is a pretty much a perfect storm to coming in, and it's got some pop to it, it's got some purpose. And the last 2 days I think have shown that.
We saw Josh Richardson handle the ball a little bit. Like when you were studying what he did in Miami and what you've seen so far from him, what have you kind of seen from him?
A do-all. Like, I've seen him switch out on 4 men and like really be tough enough, although he's wiry, he's tough. Guarding them at a post if they roll him, switching out easy on 1, 2s, and 3s, stalking a ball. Those are all some defensive things. I think that offensively, the ability to have the ball and play as a big point guard, if you will, with the ball, a playmaker, I think we've seen that. And there's more of a just willingness to fit in and do whatever it takes that I felt like he showed in Miami, and he was called upon with a team that they had to do more, and he did. This year with the team that we have, I feel like he's just so mindful of what he can do and his surrounding cast, his neighborhood, that he'll fit into whatever we need. And he really is capable in a lot of areas.
And there's also, I guess, a good luxury for you guys with 4 seconds left, trying to get him the ball down low, get live, going up the end. With athleticism, you didn't have the position last year.
I agree, Keith. And as we all guess, well, who's the point guard on the other team going to defend? We probably all guess it's going to be him. And it's not going to be all day, every day, I'm sure. But they got to guard somebody. And so, mightn't we try to go at it at a post or a lob and just throw it? Maybe. I just feel like he's pliable to a bunch of areas, offense and defense.
Brett, you mentioned this briefly yesterday, but what changes have you seen in Ben in terms of his vocal leadership in the gym? He seemed to be a little louder, more animated. We've probably seen
The familiarity, I think, with me and his teammates and the system expedites a level of, I think, confidence born out of he knows what to do. Like, he's not wondering, where do I go, or what's this word mean, or what are we doing on the side out of bounds. It's one of the great excitement parts of this team that I have is I suspect this team's going to be with us for the year. And I think to grow those words and familiarity is everything, because it sets a base of not overthinking. Like, what's he saying? What's it mean? And Ben's playing just with a more of a freedom, because I think he just knows the system more intimately.
Going back to Josh, with the backup point guard spot, is he going to factor in with Howell and Trey to back up?
I think it's going to come in intermittently, slowly. Like, my intention is to see what comes out of Howell and Trey, and like look at that as a backup, like a legitimate backup point guard thing. I feel like, incrementally to drip feed Josh into the point guard role, with the possibility, he could be that in the playoffs, as we saw with Jimmy and I experienced with Manu, and rotations at times get shrunk, and like, there it is. And so I see this playing out more than anointing him that right out of the gate.
Last week you talked about the Swiss Army drill. Give us a little more on, like, what are the elements in that 4-second drill that sort of give you different pieces that you can work on with different roles?
I mean, I think nowadays, to think like you're going to come out with the magic bean and like, oh, here it is, this is an incredible play. I lean on concepts and fundamentals nowadays more than ever. And so in that environment, and that's what it is, an environment, you're just trying to create reads and options in space and unpredictable possibilities instead of a rigid world, because you could come out and teams could be in a zone, they could switch 1 through 5, they could sag the guy on the ball, they could keep, Joel at home and switch you could go on and on and on. And I feel like that's the world that I want to grow and play out of. These guys will have seen enough, we'll do it repetitively, we've been doing it a lot, just teeing off on situations. But the concepts and fundamentals as it relates to sort of that look interests me for those reasons.
Your rotation is going to shrink in the playoffs. How many guys are you comfortable playing right now?
I think 10, 11, like, you're probably not going to go that deep in a game, but, in general, use the point guard as an example. Maybe in the early days, you're going to, give the backup role to Howell one night, or Trey, or maybe you're going to flip those young kids around and give Shake and Matisse and Zaire as an example, Furkan. I think that's where the rotation numbers could swell. But at the start, long year, I'm not going into it saying, here's our 9-man rotation. I think you'd probably go into it like with a 10-man, which I know it's not a lot more. But going into it and playing some other kids, and looking at some stuff early, I suspect that's what's going to happen.
Coach, you touched at the bottom. It seems like this roster is more seasoned than rosters we've had in years past. Have you seen that translate to what's been going on in here the first few days? Like, have they been able to pick things up aptitude-wise more because there's more experience maybe top to bottom on the roster?
I asked a question the first day of practice that really surprised me, is because the league has changed a lot. This is my 20th year in the NBA, and like, the league has changed a lot, and you're always like looking out, wondering how many guys have been around, a decade. Who here has exceeded a decade? And there was, as I remember the hands, I think it was just Al, which really, sort of surprised me, because like, I'm thinking, well, what about Kyle, and what about Mike Scott, and so on, and it's just, we do have a seasoned team, but it's not old. It's not old, and I think that these guys are in, sort of some peak areas. I think Tobias is in a honey spot. Joel's in a honey spot. Ben, by all terms, is young. And Al, at his age, you wouldn't call him old. So I just like the I like the space that the collective group is in. It's in a good range. It's not like you get a few 40-year-olds and a few 19-year-olds. You got a good chunk in the middle.
Coach, you spoke about his physicality yesterday, but how's Joel's conditioning seem to you for 2 days?
I think it was excellent. We do what we do with the management, the load management stuff, but as far as like watching the drill, and we get up and down the floor, I make sure that it isn't sort of stop, static stuff and too much just static stuff. And when I'm watching him get up and down the floor, he did it just fine. Like, he wasn't calling for a sub. I thought his wind was excellent, and to his credit, he obviously has done a lot of work to lose that amount of weight and come in, because we all can go on a diet, but to all of a sudden come out and apply your weight with your cardio and have a base with wind, that's the holy grail, and he did it. He obviously did it, because I don't see anything else but his ability to get up and down the floor without calling for a sub.